Hello friends, in this lecture we'll start rotational motion. Now I believe all of you basically know what rotational motion is. Like the motion of a fan. Suppose this is a fan and it is rotating about a rod which is fixed to the ceiling. This is rotational motion. The motion of a wheel on ground. This is also rotational motion. The motion of a door fixed to a wall through hinges is also rotational motion. Now, in all these rotational motions, there is one thing, that there has to be a line about which this object will rotate. Like in the case of the fan, this axis is the line. In case of this wheel, the line passing through center, and in case of the door, the line which is attached to the wall is the axis about which this object rotates. So in every type of rotational motion, the only thing which we need to first identify is what is the axis of rotation. This axis of rotation can either pass through the center of the object, as in case of fan or in case of wheel, or it can also pass through the end of the object, like this axis about which the door rotates passes through the end of the rod, end of the door. Now, based on this axis, there are two types of rotations. One is pure rotation. Pure rotation is that type of rotation in which the axis remains at rest. Like, let us consider the case of the fan. This is the fan, and it is rotating about this axis passing through the center, but the axis itself is at rest. So this is pure rotation. This door which is attached to the wall through hinges, door can rotate, but the axis which is attached to the wall, it remains at rest. So such cases in which the axis remains at rest is called pure rotation. On the other hand, if the axis starts moving, then such cases are called impure rotations. Like, suppose there is a wheel moving on the ground. So the wheel will be moving about the axis passing through the center. Wheel will be rotating like this. But this center itself, suppose we draw the diagram after some time. So it will be like this. The axis passing through the center itself will be moving in the forward direction. So when the axis moves, then such rotations are called impure rotations. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll study pure rotations, then we'll study impure rotations. Now suppose there is an object, a solid body, which is rotating, performing pure rotation about this axis. This is the axis. And the axis itself is at rest. Now the body is rotating like this. Suppose I consider a particle 1 which is at a distance r1 from the axis. Now as the body rotates, this 1 will move in a circle of radius r1. If I take another particle 2 which is at a distance r2, so as the body will rotate, r2 will also move in a circle of radius r2. So what we can say is, when a body performs pure rotation, then all the particles of the body perform circular motion about the center, about the axis. After this, now as we know that all the particles are performing circular motions, suppose this is the body and it is performing pure rotation about this axis. Now, and this is the angular velocity with which it is rotating. Now suppose I consider a particle 1 which is at a distance r1. So we have already seen that 1 will move in a circular path. So the velocity of 1 will be perpendicular or tangential to the path. I can call it v1, where v1 will be equal to r1 omega. If I take another particle 2 which is at a distance r2, so the body, this particle 2 will have a velocity v2 which is again perpendicular, and this v2 will be equal to r2 omega. In a similar manner, if we consider a particle 3 which is at a distance r3, so this r3 will have a velocity v3 which will be given by r3 omega. So we can say that every particle which is at some distance, suppose x, from the axis of rotation will have a velocity which will be given by x omega. Now after this velocity, we come to a very important topic, which is kinetic energy. Of a particle, of a rigid body performing pure rotation. Now suppose this is a rigid body and it is performing pure rotation with an angular velocity omega. If I consider a particle here having mass m1 and radius r1, so its velocity will be r1 omega. So the kinetic energy of the first particle will be half m1 r1 omega square. Suppose there is particle 2 which is at a distance r2, also moving with velocity omega. So the velocity of this is r2 omega and the kinetic energy will be half m2 r2 omega square. In a similar manner, the kinetic energy of the third particle will be half mn rn omega square. So suppose I write Kn is half mn rn omega square. Now the total kinetic energy will be given by the sum of all the kinetic energies. So now if I add all of these, K, which will be equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3, K4, K5 up to Kn. So K will be equal to half m1 r1 square omega square plus half m2 r2 square omega square, then half m3 r3 square omega square, and the last will be half mn rn square omega square. So kinetic energy will be, we can take out omega square outside, 2 outside, and we can write this as sigma mr square. Now this sigma mr square is known as moment of inertia. This sigma mr square, we call it as I. So the kinetic energy of an object performing pure rotation is given by half I omega square. So in this lecture we will complete till here, and in the next lecture we will study what is moment of inertia.